Okay. This morning, we're going to start on a topic where we've named it the pause. And go ahead, Nellie.
Yeah, and that's a very common term in mindfulness and mindfulness meditation instructions to put a pause in. Sometimes it's even called a sacred pause. Um,
Right. And in some ways, I'd say even meditation in itself is a pause, right? Just sitting down in the midst of a life that's going forward. We're taking this pause, and um, in reflective meditation, we consider a pause a time to reflect. That's the time to think about things, review them.
right. Definitely, meditation is a pause. Or I guess when we flip the coin the other way, maybe it's more the show. But we don't have to take that part quite up. But some people would refer to it as more real than the external world itself. We
Mm-hmm.
consider them both quite real and valid. But at any rate, a pause, like you said, from the ongoing onslaught of everything in our life coming at us.
Mm-hmm. And it seems to have a type of intention with it, that we're really directing ourselves to pause, that there's some way we're trying to clarify that, make that known, be aware that we're going into a pause.
Right. And then again, sometimes life just pauses us. you know,
Right.
Conditions are such that things aren't moving forward in the way we had imagined or even hoped for.
Right. Those are the times I often feel like I kind of wake up into a pause, like I've been trying so hard to get something done or thinking it should progress in a certain direction. And then I kind of become more aware, and it's like, oh, this is the time for a pause. And then you can bring that intention more directly to it.
Yeah, yeah. And so so what we're sort of saying is sometimes conditions just direct us or force us even to
Mhm.
slow down.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're looking, I think, in reflective meditation, we're on a bit of a pause right now. We're at a point where we're trying to think what's best for us, what's best for the practice, what's really possible with reflective meditation and our practice. What happens when you do it over a long term, and where are we going? All those kind of things.
Yeah, and you and I, Linda, we've been on a flurry rather than a pause. We've been on a flurry of activity, and I don't know when to say it started. We could call the start time differently if we think about it differently. But at any rate, there was one start when we were asked to write a book, and we got in gear and we wrote a book, and we promoted this book we wrote, and we've been on a and we created a new logo and a new website and a new Facebook page, and we were on a flurry.
Right. Well, another flurry, Nellie, too, is the pandemic. Actually, while it slowed us down and put us into this huge pause, we actually got quite active. We came together, we came online, we developed new programs, we did Dharma talks. I mean, every day. So,
This this very daily online, yes, it was a uh, it kept us active during and has provided very meaningful work.
right, right. So the other like aspect of a kind of a pause is, how do you feel when you're in a pause, or what are the feelings around being put into a pause and not expecting to find yourself there, and that there's times when a pause actually helps free things up a bit more, or you become a bit more accepting about what's happening, and you have more time to think about it, so you're not pressured within that pause.
Right, and the pause can be many things. It can be restorative. It can be scary. It can be ungrounded.
Hmm.
It can be a relief.
Right, right. Right. And, we can have a lot of even bodily sensations around a pause. I often think of just a little bit of tension that's held, that kind of mimics, like I don't know what's going to happen and I
Mhm.
don't know how I should respond. That really can put you into a state.
Right, right. And again, for you and I, which, we wrote this Dharma talk, so, it came out of our experience. Part of what's going on for us is our book is not selling well. I believe we sold one copy on Amazon in the last month. And we poured our heart and souls into this. And now we go, now what? Now what?
Right. We did a lot of work. We even, I would say, kind of we did what we were told to do, like you do take this step and then that step and then this step and then that step, and then you should have success. And it's like, okay, well, we took those steps. The success is not as we had hoped. So we have to go about it differently. What does that mean?
Yeah, we don't know. We
Yeah.
really don't know how we go about it differently, or even if we go about anything, or if we're just receptive and see what's next. We've thrown a lot of what's the cliche? A lot of something out into the
I,
universe.
oh, irons on the fire, I would have said. Okay, something in the
Okay, that's fine. We'll do that because you can remember it. So we've thrown a lot of irons on the fire, and and maybe one of them will catch, and maybe they won't, and we don't know.
Mhm. It's also interesting, Nellie, in this reflection, we've been talking about it, is that it mimics the larger world, the not knowing in the larger world. We really are almost a microcosm of what's happening, and we don't know what's gonna go next. And the kind of fear that's for me for in the larger world. Um,
Yeah, we don't even know if there's going to be a larger world with a climate emergent, or there will be a larger world, but we don't know if we'll be on it. I mean, that's the biggest fear of, in my mind, is the climate emergency. But I can get scared about, will there be democracy? Will there be,
mm,
and what will happen in the Middle East? It's a scary time of not knowing, which we could say gives us even more reason to go inward and to a more restorative pause.
right. Well, I have a newfound, maybe not brand new, but a newfound respect for pausing, that it really is a part of a practice, because I see so many people not pausing, and not having that built into their their way of being in the world, and it's really a good direction, a beneficial direction to pause when things get this big or this unknown.
Yeah, yeah. At the same time, we do remain committed and dedicated to reflective meditation. I'm certainly, and I can speak for you, committed and dedicated to our own personal meditations. Um, Want
Yeah.
to take it from there?
Yeah, yeah, because this is not the last thought. I want you to come back in, Nellie, too. But part of our values are that you remain dedicated to your life and what's important to you and the conditions in your life. And sometimes that keeps you more directly in reflective meditation in the Sangha, and other times that takes you out and doing other things or paying attention to um, other aspects of your life. But that really that value, is something that can unify us and we connect about. So can you pick it up from there?
Well, I'm going to do the counterpart to that, and yet we need one another.
Yeah,
We need our sanghas
yeah,
to continue forward.
yeah,
It really is part of what we take
yeah,
refuge in.
right.
I think it's a good ending. All right.